with
Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Know the Game. I'm your host, Connor. We're joined here, obviously, with the co-host Gavin.
what's up, everybody?
And guys, this will be episode 3. Not gonna lie, but something happened with the video. I uploaded it, and half the audio was not there, so we had to take it down. So, and today, per usual, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. We're gonna be talking about the Suns Bucks NBA Finals. We're gonna give our prediction and also preview the series. I'm very excited to see who we have winning the finals. Also, going to talk about some coaches getting extended and Team USA beginning to practice for the Olympics. And then we're going to move it over to some baseball. The MLB All Star teams got announced. Are there any snubs, surprises? Who should and shouldn't be on the All Star teams? Also, going to talk about the greatest player of all time, Shohei Ohtani, an absolute freaking demigod. The Dodgers are on an incredible win streak in the team, and the MLB is also on an incredible losing streak. We'll talk about that, as well as the power rankings and trade deadline. And then we'll end it off with some NFL. We'll go over some Aaron Rodgers as usual. Some one guy's trying to make an NFL comeback, as well as the start bench cut, and then our top 10 running backs and our top 5 NFL stadiums. So
Yes.
hopefully you guys stick around for all of those. Very excited for some of the stuff we have in store for you today. So, Gavin, let's start it off with the Suns
Well,
Bucks.
well, actually, we don't really have a lot to talk about usually in the NFL, so we just want to play some mini games at the end. So that's why we got the Starbridge cut top 10 running backs at 5 stadiums. But
Yeah,
anyways, with the Suns and Bucks, we're gonna actually talk about the Bucks and Hawks series. The Bucks uh won four games to two against the Atlanta Hawks, 118 to 107. Honestly, I thought the Bucks were gonna go to the finals. It was an easy ride ever since they beat the the Nets. I thought Hawks aren't that team yet to make
yeah,
it, and you got your best player Trae Young not playing the game to that really matters, but he did come back in the game that actually matters in game 6, but they still lost. Um, I mean, the Bucks just really outplayed them the whole series, especially without Giannis, with Brooke Lopez scoring that nice 33 and a casual 33 for Brooke Lopez.
casual.
Looking like Nets Brooke Lopez.
Seriously.
But we got Chris Middleton because also game 6, Giannis, pretty sure he didn't play that game either. But Chris Middleton, 32 points, and Drew Holiday 27 points. So the two best players other than Giannis on the Bucks stepping up when the Bucks need them to step up, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the beginning of the series, like when they were like guessing who's going to win Bucks Hawks, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty close. I was like, the Bucks are obviously the favorite, but the Hawks can be that sneaky team, and they definitely were a sneaky team. 6 games against the Bucks, like nobody would have predicted that. But whether the Bucks played the Sixers or the Hawks like they did, I think they were bound to go to the finals. Once they took out the Nets, it's just beating the teams ahead of you, and the teams ahead of them weren't the greatest competition for them. But the guys in the series played great. Brooke Lopez amazing, Middleton amazing, Holiday points wise, wasn't the best of series, but he's a great defender and a great playmaker. And then Giannis, he got hurt, he missed 2 games, but now they're in the finals and he's playing. And I think the Hawks are a young team. This is their first playoff run, and this will not be their last. So they'll get better in the future, definitely, with 100%.
You know, we're talking about 100%. Trey Young definitely was not 100%. You know,
Yeah,
he was injured, played the game, but he was like, you know what, this is an elimination game. I'm gonna suck it up and play. He only played 35 minutes. Well, not really only. He's like that was the second most played on the team. 35 minutes, only put up 14 points. But again, he was injured, trying to make that push to force a game 7. But obviously it didn't happen. We're gonna have Bucks Suns finals. Um, so Connor, who do you think is going to win out of the Suns and Bucks?
This is a tough one. I don't even have anything written down. I don't have any prediction written down. So I'm just going to go with what my gut is telling me. A lot of people are going to predict Suns in 6 or Bucks in 6. 6 games is usually the prediction number. My opinion, this series is either going 5 games or 7 games. So with that, I'm going to be picking the Milwaukee Bucks to win in 7 games against the Phoenix Suns in the finals.
You got that. The Suns had a very, very easy. I wouldn't say easy, but like fast playoff run through the whole playoffs. They swept the who was it? I'm blanking on the name for some reason.
The Nuggets.
The Nuggets. They swept the Nuggets. Suns in 4. Honestly, I actually have the Suns beating the Bucks. You got guys like Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul. Chris Paul making his first ever finals. Very happy. Every NBA fan is happy seeing Chris Paul finally making it to an NBA final appearance.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we get to see him win that. Even Devin Booker too, and I wouldn't be sad if the Bucks wanted to see Giannis hold that trophy proudly. But honestly, I have the Suns in maybe 6 games. I would say Suns in 6. Because the Bucks, they beat the best team, arguably the best team in the NBA in the regular season, the Brooklyn Nets. If the Suns, I think the Bucks can hold in against the Suns, but I really do think the Suns will come out as NBA champions against the Bucks.
For the casual fan, and the term casual, you don't want to take negatively. It's okay to be a casual fan in anything, but for the casual NBA fan, with no LeBron or KD or Steph Curry in the finals, they may see the Suns Bucks as like, oh, this is just a boring NBA finals, but it's really not. If you're like a basketball fan, you have Chris Paul, who's one of the greatest point guards ever in his first finals, Devin Booker, one of the greatest players, and then Giannis and the whole Bucks gang. So there's a lot of great guys. I would love to see either team win the championship, and I'm just excited. Game 1's going on right now as we are recording this, so it's gonna be excited to watch the rest of that game.
Yeah, we're gonna be moving on from the NBA finals, but the USA team, the USA basketball team for the Olympics, actually started their first practice. I'm pretty sure yesterday, if I'm correct. They got I should pull up the roster right now, but you got guys like Kevin Durant on that team, Jason Tatum, Jeremy Grant,
Bam Adebayo, K-Love,
Kevin Love. Very surprising names in there too. But honestly, the USA team is always stacked every single year. It's always stacked. And it's every 4 years, and I feel like every 4 years they are the best team. I don't really know if when was the last time they won the gold medal or whatever, but I don't know. I'm gonna check the roster right now. So you talk about the USA team.
Okay, so the USA team may not have like LeBron. They may not have like the tippity top players. I mean, they have Kevin Durant and stuff. And people may look at that and say, "Oh, the Team USA roster is not that good." Stop right there, bro. The Team USA roster is the best roster out there. These other countries, they might have 1 or 2 active NBA players, and then the rest are from the country. But all the guys on the Team USA roster play in the NBA, and they're the top guys in the NBA. So they're going to win gold this year. I mean, it would be shocking if they don't win gold. I'm pretty sure they won gold in 2016, 2012, 2008. I know they won gold. So, Team USA is always good, and they're going to be good again this year.
Well, I'm at this website right now. I'm not sure if this is 100% correct, but I'm just going to do a quick, say the roster. Bam Adebayo, Bradley Beal,
Ooh.
It says Devin Booker's in this.
Mm-hmm.
KD, Jeremy Grant, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, Kevin Love, Jason Tatum, Chris Middleton, and you got Greg Popovich as a coach, and you also got Steve Kerr as a coach. So that duo combined as the coaching staff is going to be crazy to watch, and this whole team in general is going to be crazy to watch. I'm really excited to watch them play.
Gold medal. Gold.
Yeah, I'm going to be so excited watching this whole USA team play and compete for that gold medal. Honestly,
Bro, I'm actually like pretty excited to watch the Olympics. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, it's every 4 years. So like, as I get older, I like watch them and know them, remember them more. And, like the last one, I remember a little bit, dude. This one, I'm like really pumped to watch like all the events and the basketball one, bro, for real.
Talking about the Olympics, Luka Doncic is trying to get into the Olympics or to compete for gold with his team. He's been tearing up for I don't even what team is he playing for?
Slovenia, I think.
Yeah, I don't really know the names, but he's looking good out there. He just posted a triple double the other day. But USA is going to go gold. So I'm gonna
USA all the way.
USA all the way. Everyone's gonna be so excited to see that. So moving on to the MLB. We got our All Star teams set. I'm gonna do a quick say of the AL All Star starters for positional players: Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Marcus Semien, Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, Salvi Perez. DH is Shohei Ohtani, and you're gonna hear me say his name again in a little bit. Outfield: Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, and Teoscar Hernandez. And reserves, you got Mike Zunino, Jose Altuve, Bo Bichette, Carlos Correa, Matt Olson, very well deserved. Jose Ramirez, Jared Walsh, Michael Brantley, Lee Gallo, Adolis Garcia, Cedric Mullins, Nelson Cruz, and JD Martinez. And at the pitcher side, you got Garrett Cole. Honestly, Garrett Cole does not deserve to be an All-Star right if we're talking about the last couple of starts that he's had without spider tack. Lance Lynn, Carlos Rodon, Shane Bieber, and Shohei Ohtani. That's right. He's playing as a DH and a pitcher. Aroldis Chapman, Liam Hendricks, Matt Barnes, Nathan Ovaldi, Kyle Gibson,
You say Kikuchi.
Ryan Presley, and Gregory Soto. So that right there, we got 3 White Sox pitchers. So that is crazy right there. The White Sox pitching rotation is stacked.
Okay, so a few things, guys, on the list that shouldn't be all stars. I don't think Aroldis Chapman should be an all-star. He's really blown a lot of saves recently and gives up a lot of home runs. But also Mike Trout's can get replaced, so Cedric Mullins will probably become a starter. Some guys might opt out or be injured, so some guys that you think should be on the list and maybe got snubbed, I think will definitely find their way on for the AL.
Yeah. Also, the National League starters: Freddie Freeman, Adam Frazier, Fernando Tatis Jr., Nolan Arenado, Buster Posey, Ronald Acuna Jr., Nick Castellanos, and Jesse Winker. Reserves: JT Realmuto, Ozzie Albies, Chris Bryant, Brandon Crawford, also very good this season for the Giants. Jake Cronenworth.
Dude, we did it! Oh my god, that's so sick.
And Escobar. Max Muncy is a reserve. Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, and I'm a Dodgers fan. Does not deserve to be an All-Star. Brian Reynolds, Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, and Chris Taylor. And I'm a Dodger fan. Chris Taylor deserves to be an All-Star. Pitching: Jacob DeGrom, Kevin Gausman, two right there, automatic locks right there. Also, the two starters for the Brewers, Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns. They've been tearing up the dynamic duo right there for the Brewers. And then Yu Darvish, Craig Kimbrel, Josh Hader, Mark Melanson. His intro is so sick to coming onto the field. Yerman Marquez almost threw a no-hitter the other day, but came out short the first batter in the ninth. Alex Reyes, Trevor Rogers, the rookie, and Zach Wheeler also been tearing up this season.
Seriously.
So we're going to be going over to the AL snubs if you have any, or the AL surprises if you have any. Honestly, the AL, if I were to say surprising, I'd have to say Mike Trout, since he's injured and won't even play in the All Star game.
Yeah.
You know, you can put somebody like Cedric Mullins or Adolis Garcia there. Because another rookie, Adolis Garcia, you know, Cedric Mullins recently has been so good, but Mike Trout is a surprising player for me.
A surprise for me, which, I mean, it's a good surprise. It's got to be Shohei making it twice. Like, he's going to be able to hit in this game. He's going to be able to pitch in this game. And the manager of the AL All-Star team, I believe it's the Rays manager, Kevin Cash, said Shohei will pitch. And then I'm pretty sure MLB is going to, like, change the rules for the All-Star game so he can hit, come out of the game, and then go in and pitch. That would be sick. It would be amazing if he starts the All-Star game as the starting pitcher.
Well, Shohei, if it's Kevin Cash and, you know, Shohei's a starter, he'll probably have a no-hitter and then give up one hit, and then Kevin Cash will be like, no, you're out here.
Yeah, well, I mean, they all go like one innings anyway, but
yeah.
And then I don't really think Aroldis Chapman. There was this comparison I saw
recently.
Yeah, there was this comparison I saw, and it was on an Angels fan account, so I don't want to sound biased here, but it was showing Raisel Iglesias, the Angels closer, like metrics, like super high statistics, not like the ones you see on the box score, compared to Chapman's, and they were just way better. Like his velo and all the crazy saber metrics were way higher. But I think there's other guys in the AL. I can't name any, but there's so many guys you could have put over Aroldis Chapman. And yeah, I mean that's really all I have for that AL.
Well, this is for the whole All-Star game in general. The jerseys, everybody, they show the schematic of it. Everybody's like, oh, dude, those are so bad. Those are the worst jerseys ever you could possibly think of. Honestly, they have them in MLB The Show 21, and they do not look that bad in the game.
I didn't even know they're in the game.
They are in the game, and they look pretty good. They actually look good on everybody, really. They look fairly decent. Everybody's like, dude, this is just go back to regular jerseys, to have their own jerseys. But no, I mean, those are really good, in my opinion.
I do like the thing they do on the back under the number. It has the stars for how many All-Star teams you've made.
Oh,
so I think Trout. Yeah, Trout has like 7 or 9 or something like that, and then one-time All-Stars have 1 star. It's a cool thing that they did.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. But moving over to the NL snubs and surprises. Freddie Freeman making first base over Max Muncy. You look everything stat-wise, Max Muncy is better. I guess people just hate Max Muncy. Sure. I really hate that he didn't make the All-Star starters list because I feel like for the longest time he was in the front running for first baseman starters.
Yeah.
And just like the last week, it was Freddie Freeman, and I was like, what? That is so random.
Seriously, he really deserves to be a starter. Like his numbers compared to Freddie Freeman's are amazing. It's just sad.
Another surprising for me, it has to be Yerman Marquez, the ace for the Rockies. He did almost throw a no-hitter the other day, but there's, possibly there could be more. I can't really name anybody on the spot right now, but like there's better pitchers than Yerman Marquez this season.
Yeah, a guy I think is a major snub. He's one of the top leaders in I think all of baseball in ERA. He's the second best pitcher on the Mets. It's Taijuan Walker. This dude's on my fantasy team. He's like 7-2 win-loss record, like a 2 ERA, 2.51 ERA or something. Absolute. He really deserves to be an all-star, and I think that surprised me definitely the most.
Well, speaking of pitchers, any Dodger pitcher really, the big three, Clint Kershaw, Walker Buehler, or Trevor Bauer, we can, see why he's not possibly an all-star right now.
Yeah.
We're not going to get too into detail with that. But, Walker Buehler has been tearing up this season. I mean, at the start of the season, everybody was like, he's a really good postseason pitcher, really good. But, he has been really good for the Dodgers every single time I see him play. So there's that.
He's like, anytime Walker Buehler starts, he's guaranteed like 7 strikeouts and like 7 innings. So there's that. Also, a guy that I think is a snub, Manny Machado. He's been really, really good. He's just had a Manny Machado season, and a Manny Machado season is really, really good. Also, Bryce Harper and Juan Soto have like the exact same numbers, like the basic numbers, like home runs average, stuff like that. So I really think you could interchange those guys, Harper or Soto.
I'm looking at the AL reserves and starters. I do not see Gary Sanchez on here at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, would you rather have Mike Zunino start or off the bench or Gary Sanchez? I mean, Gary Sanchez hits the ball, so does Zunino. Gary Sanchez doesn't know how to play catcher, the position.
I mean, you can put him at DH.
Yeah.
But, done with the All-Star game itself, we can talk about the home run derby. So far, we got Shohei Ohtani, Trey Mancini. Love the story. Salvi Perez, Matt Olson has just, MLB just said that he's going to be in it I think, this morning.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso, the reigning champ, and Trevor Story. So we need 2 more players to be in the All-Star or in the home run derby. Vladdy said he's not going to be in it because it messes up his swing. So he did put on a show that one year in Cleveland. But who would you want to see the other 2 players? Who would you want the other 2 players to be?
I mean, if I could force people to do it, Guerrero and Tatis, but they don't want to do it. So, and Kyle Schwarber got hurt, which would be awesome if he was able to be in the home run derby. But I want to see some lefty power bats, and I want to see Rafael Devers, Joey Gallo, or Jared Walsh. But Joey Gallo and Rafael Devers, Gallo has like light tower power, and if he's going to hit in Colorado in the home run derby, a stadium might exit a ball might exit the park.
Well,
those are my 2.
I would like to see either Acuna or Muncy. Nelson Cruz is a good one. JT Martinez is a good one.
Some of the guys are interesting that are in it because like Trey Mancini only has 15 bombs. And there's guys with so many more ahead of him. I mean, he has power, but he obviously doesn't have the numbers this year. Adolis Garcia would be cool to see in the home run derby. Judge. Winker, yeah.
Stanton.
There's a lot of guys left, and there's a lot of guys we want to see, and there's only 2 spots left. So hopefully it's guys that like we want in the home run derby.
Yes.
Not like Mike Zunino.
Now we're going to be talking about a guy who is in the home run derby and is also a DH and a pitcher in the All-Star game that has been tearing it up these past couple of games, and that is Connor's future husband, Shohei Ohtani. I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen. Shohei Ohtani
I wish.
has been tearing it up for the Anaheim Angels. The last 7 games right here, he has 6 home runs. In the last 15 games, he has 12. And last 15 games, he has 20 RBIs. That is crazy right there. He's batting 304 last 15 games. It feels like every single time I log into Instagram, I see in tweet or a post, MLB post, it's like Shohei Ohtani's hitting another bomb. Shohei Ohtani 555 feet right there. His first pitch crushing. You know, a lot of things you see a show.
Lean into it.
A lot of things Shohei Ohtani, like it's basically they Shohei Ohtani and Tatis is all I ever see, and maybe even Vladdy occasionally.
Yeah.
But when Shohei Ohtani last 15 games, 12 home runs, 20 RBIs, 9 walks, 304 average, 400 on base percentage, and a 1.18 slugging. Telling me that you have a 1.18 slugging in the last 15 games.
Crazy,
And
dude.
not to mention he was also player of the month in June.
And then he just won player of the week.
Yeah, he just won player of the week. So if Vladdy doesn't, step it up, because I haven't seen any Vladdy posts in a while. Shohei is going to be an MVP. Everybody really says that, because it's going to happen. You can't have a career while pitching dominantly and hitting even better and not win a single MVP. I mean, you could pitch dominantly and not win a Cy Young like Nolan Ryan, never winning a Cy Young in his career. But, Shohei Ohtani is going to be MVP this year.
You can have a really good season hitting wise, and that's what Vladdy's going to have. And it's not just saying, he's having like a really good hitting season. He's playing amazing. He's playing MVP caliber baseball. But, the people that are going to vote, they have to look at 2 stats for Shohei. They got to look at his hitting and his pitching. And his pitching stats, it's probably going to be like a 5-6 win season. Maybe if he's lucky, 10, 3 or something ERA. But then, the hitting side, he's on pace for 60 home runs. 60 home runs. 31 before the All Star break. I don't think I've ever seen that. Maybe it's happened, but I don't remember. But 31 home runs before the All Star game, which is in a week, by the way. So he can get up to, with the pace he's on, he can get up to freaking 35, 36 before Tuesday night in Colorado.
Whoa, you said in a week, right?
Yeah.
So like 7 days.
Man's got
7 days
from now to Sunday, basically, because I think the home run derby's on Monday.
7 days, he's hit 6 home runs. So yeah, that's like 37 home runs right there.
Yeah.
But
he's a beast.
Talking about the Dodgers and Cubs now. Ever since the Dodgers sadly got no hit by the Chicago Cubs, I'm pretty sure the Chicago Cubs are like 0-9.
They're 0-10.
0-10. Jeez, that's even worse. Dodgers are 9-1. They just lost yesterday against the Miami Marlins. They're currently playing right now. The Giants also lost yesterday. So if the Dodgers won that game, that's about 1 point. If they won that game, they would have been in first place in the NL West. But, the Dodgers really stepped it up after getting no hit. They were like, and that was also after playing the San Diego Padres, and they always do bad.
Yeah.
Like I said, they've always do bad when they play against the Padres. But they were like, dude, we just got no hit. We're not going to go in another 15 loses in a row streak. We're going to win games, and we're going to win them in bunches. And that's what they have been doing these last 10 games, 9-1. And Chicago Cubs were like, dude, how did we just throw a no-hitter and lose 10 games straight? That is just crazy, to be honest. It usually would be the other way around.
I pulled up some of the scores because I was looking like, how are the Cubs being so bad? A lot of their losses, majority of them are like 1-run losses. A lot of the scores 3-2, but then there's these 4-game that they just absolutely got wrecked. 13-3, 15-7, 14-4, 7-1. That's really bad on both sides of the ball. Pitching wise, you're giving up 13, 14, 15 runs. You're not going to win. And then hitting wise, if you're only scoring 3, 4, 1, same result. So both sides of the ball for teams not good. I'm interested to see what they're going to do at the trade deadline. But then the Dodgers, I mean, they're just playing like the freaking Dodgers, man. All cylinders are turning. The pitching's amazing. The bullpen's amazing. Offense, one of the best offenses in baseball. The Dodgers are just the Dodgers, man.
Yeah, I honestly, the Dodgers need to win right now, and the Giants need to lose later today if they want to be in first place. But the Cubs, they really can't be losing. Games like one-run games. It's super annoying. Seeing your favorite teams or just your team in general, just losing one-run games, and especially with like 4-3, and also the big scoring games, 7-1.
Yeah.
You can't be scoring run in a baseball game and expecting to win, and also you can't give up 7 runs in a baseball game and also expect to win.
Yeah.
But you got fans that have learned now that games usually are 10-run games, or like they're 11 to 10 run games because hitting is dominant now. But Dodgers on pace for many more things, and Cubs, who were actually on fire the last couple weeks ago, now have been cold last 10 games.
If I am correct, this might have either been the podcast we have up or one that we recorded that never worked. But in one of them, we talked about the Cubs are hot and they're playing the Mets. And, the Cubs were really hot just like 2-3 weeks ago. And now they're the ice coldest team in baseball. So they need to turn it around if they want to make the playoffs. The Brewers are red hot. The Reds, red hot. So if they want to make the playoffs, which is going to be winning that division, they better start catching some dubs.
Well, talking about winning divisions, we're gonna be looking at the MLB's power rankings. We're only gonna be going over the top 10 because of how long it would take to.
And the rest doesn't really matter, to be
honest.
honest.
The rest, it's like, dude, who the heck wants to hear about the freaking Diamondbacks?
Yeah, the Angels are probably like 25 anyways or something, so like I don't care.
They're 18.
Oh.
And
I just trashed them.
Yeah, you're one behind the Yankees actually, which is nobody would ever think at the start of the season. Oh, the Yankees are going to be 17th.
Yeah, no.
And also the Braves being 14th. But anyways, the Toronto Blue Jays are 10 right now, which is actually kind of weird because the Mets are 11 and they have a better record. But I guess it's not records right now. But what do you expect the Blue Jays going to number 10 in the power rankings?
I did not see that. I haven't looked. Are you looking at MLB.com's?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I haven't looked at theirs. That is surprising, especially like how are the Mets not in there? The Mets have a better record, and they might be like 5-5 in their last 10, but it's kind of.
Going on to number 9, the Oakland Athletics going up to number 9. They've been pretty hot recently.
Yeah, I mean they either lost the series or got swept to the Red Sox, but they're still one of the best teams in baseball. Really hot, good team.
You got the former losing World Series team, the Tampa Bay Rays, at number 8. What do you say?
I mean, this is a good spot for them. They're definitely a top 10 team in baseball. I know that I think power rankings mainly go off of the last week or last 10 games.
Yeah.
So they've just been pretty average. I think the record's 5-5. This is a good spot for them.
And the number 7 spot, the Chicago White Sox.
This is interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Honestly, if we're going over the past week or so, I honestly don't think they should be top 10.
I did I have them in the top 10, but I have them at 10. I don't think they're number 6 in my opinion. 7, in my opinion. I don't think so.
Okay, so number 6, like you said, this team is hot recently. The Milwaukee Brewers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Uh,
ha I don't really have much to say for like a lot of these. Maybe like towards the top.
yeah, number 5. We have the San Diego Padres.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, they've been 5-5 in their last 10, just playing baseball.
And also, I mean, I guess, but I guess you don't want to put a third place team at number 1 or whatever. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
five is a good spot for them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And number 4, we got the Houston Astros.
Yeah, dude. They have
They
been really good.
they've been proving everybody that they don't really need to cheat at all, but everybody still hates them. Number 3, we got the Boston Red Sox. Number 2, we got the Los Angeles Dodgers. Um, I'm pretty sure they were number 1 on MLB's like Instagram.
Yeah, either one of the I
I'm
gotta
pretty sure. I'm
pull.
pretty sure 1 and 2 were swapped, not swapped. 1 and
Yeah.
2 were swapped with the yeah, they were swapped. But anyways, number 2, we got the San Francisco Giants.
Are you expecting me to say something? Or?
Yeah,
Oh, I think. Yeah, I think they're definitely the number 2. I completely blanked. So the Dodgers are number 1. Um, dude, the Giants have been a surprise this year. They just continue to be good. If it wasn't for the Dodgers having an amazing week of just like winning, they'd be number 1. You know, the Giants lost a few games, and the Dodgers have just been great, so that's why they're number 1. You know.
yes, pretty much. I'm not gonna really complain about my favorite team being number 1 or even number 2 in that fact. But the MLB trade deadline is coming up soon at the end of this month. Um, and there's some buzz, rumors, whatever you want to say, about players. Teams teams saying players that are not going to be being traded, and players that do want to be traded. So who do you think should be traded? Who thinks should a buying team or selling team, whatever, should trade?
If I'm if I'm a buying team, I would definitely want Max Scherzer. You know, he's a free agent after the season. I know the Nationals are like second in the division, and it's close. But if I were them, I would get something for him. They have the worst farm system in baseball, and you're not going to get like the three. You're not going to get a team's top 3 prospects, but you can definitely get a quality prospect for him. And if I'm a buying team, and pitch season, the Nationals proved that a few years ago. If I'm a team that needs a pitcher, or even if I have good pitching, and it's like, you know what, it doesn't hurt to add Max Scherzer, one of the greatest pitchers of this
You know,
generation.
maybe like the Dodgers without Dustin May or without Trevor Bauer if he's going to be gone for a pretty long time. The
Yeah,
Dodgers could use a hand like Max Scherzer.
maybe even the Astros. You know, they acquired Justin Verlander a few years ago. They can do the same thing with Scherzer. There's a lot of teams that could use them.
Reunite them.
Yeah, you could reunite those two from Detroit back in Houston. Um, I think there's 2 teams that should sell.
Well, okay,
Okay,
so
you can go first. Yeah.
to the Arizona Diamondbacks, that they should trade Ketel Marte, but they said they will not be trading him at the deadline. Uh, Many teams have said they wanted him. They just told him no, and they made it very clear that they don't want to trade him. But the Arizona Diamondbacks, Ketel Marte has been pretty good for them this season, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, they set the record for most row losses in a row by a single team, and they are just so bad. But yeah, who do you think a selling team should trade away?
Well, I do think it makes sense for them to not trade Del Marte. They suck and they need someone for the future. So that's smart. Um, I think one of the most obvious teams that should sell is the Yankees. They suck in every aspect. They suck. Gary Sanchez can be a free agent. Definitely could trade him. Um, you got to trade somebody. You got to rebuild this, not rebuild, but retool this team. And then one more team I think should sell.
The Cubs.
Yes. Just a few weeks ago, people were saying they're not going to sell. They're number one in the division. But, they're 0-10. They got a lot of free agents, on their roster. I'm not saying they're going to trade. I'm not saying they're going to trade Rizzo, Bryant, and Baez. They're not going to trade all three, but you can definitely trade one or two of them. Maybe Bryant because he's not going to re-sign, and Baez or Rizzo, which would be crazy because he's a fan favorite. But yeah, I think those are the two teams that should most definitely sell.
I don't really know like players when their contracts are up or not, so I don't really have much to say the trade deadline. But we're gonna be moving on to the NFL. Aaron Rodgers teams that have been looking around, being like, "Yo, Green Bay, give us Aaron Rodgers," and they're like, "Nah, bro, we are good." He said he doesn't want to play for them for some apparent reason. Nobody knows why. I actually just got this right now. Says Aaron Rodgers, when asked if he'll be playing for the Packers next season. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. He said he made it very clear that he does not want to be playing with the Packers at the start of the season. Packers have made it very clear that he is going to be playing with them at the start of the season. But who knows if they're going to trade him, if they're going to keep him. Players, a lot of guys at the camp are hating on Aaron Rodgers. Wouldn't be surprised if they like drop a ball on purpose. But Aaron Rodgers wants to get traded, and the Packers are saying no.
I understand. They drafted a quarterback 2 years ago, or last year actually, and they didn't tell him, and it's a first round pick on a quarterback. If I were Aaron Rodgers, I would just ride this last season out. I know you're the MVP and you have a lot of leverage, but next season his contract is non-guaranteed, and next season they're going to have to move on from him. You drafted a quarterback in the first round. You got to figure out what you got, and if you're going to pick up the fifth-year option on the guy. So then you get Jordan Love PT, and if I'm Rodgers, you just ride it out. You've made it the championship game past 2 years. Who knows? Maybe this year you get luck and then you go to the Super Bowl in your last season in Green Bay.
He won a Super Bowl with Green Bay already with a totally different team from it now, but they still got you that Super Bowl championship, bro.
Yeah, they're still one of the best teams with Aaron Rodgers in football. And then obviously it makes sense for them not to trade him. You can get good assets for him, but it just doesn't. You don't trade a guy like that. You really don't.
You don't trade the reigning MVP.
You don't trade one of the greatest players of all time.
Yes, but a player that has been in and out of the league these past few seasons seems like Josh Gordon. That's right, Josh Gordon wants to come back for like the third, fourth time to the NFL. Stephen A. Smith, stay off the weed. Josh Gordon he was super high out of college, a lot of potential, but a lot of issues off the field. He's been in and out of the league these past couple seasons with marijuana. With the Packers, the Browns, the Seahawks, and I believe and the Patriots. I could be missing a team or two, but Josh Gordon, what do you say?
Well, it's always been talked about that he has this all-time talent. Like he's so talented. He through off the field issues and some injury issues and whatnot, he hasn't been able to show that. This is like his a millionth time trying to come back. Hopefully, he gets the opportunity to show who he can be. I don't think he's going to be the best receiver in football at this stage in his career, but I feel like if you sign a guy, any team can use extra wide receivers. You can never have too many, and if you just want to test him out, how good he's going to be, I definitely think a team should bring him in. I hope someone does.
I'm looking at his age right now. He's only 30 years old. So, 30 years old as a receiver is pretty old, and in the NFL. But recently, 30 years old, but he has a lot. He's showed with the Browns, with the Seahawks, with the Patriots that he is reliable, that he is good for the team that he's playing with. But that's really much all the news. But we're gonna start off with these little mini games that we like to play for the NFL, because there's really not a lot to talk about in the NFL.
It's dead right now.
It's that month usually, or the season's about to start, and it's like, dude, nobody wants to know anything new. But we're gonna do this start, bench, cut. We're gonna do quarterback, running back, or quarterback, receiver, and then running back, and then lead that onto our next section. So start, bench, cut, quarterback, Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston, or Drew Lock.
All right. I'm going to start Jameis Winston. I'm going to bench Drew Lock, and I'm going to cut Sam Darnold.
Really?
Yeah. Winston had a 30-30 season, touchdown interceptions, experienced NFL quarterback. Lock, I like his potential. And Sam Darnold has potential, but he hasn't really done much in the NFL.
Well, I'm actually going to, if you're going to put Sam Darnold on the Panthers, we haven't really seen much on him on the Panthers. I'm going to start Jameis. I'm also going to bench Sam Darnold. I'm going to cut Drew Lock because Drew Lock has not been the guy for the Broncos. You said he has potential. I don't really think so. He has not really been the guy for the Broncos these past 2 seasons or so. So I'm going to start Jameis, bench Sam Darnold. The Jets, he was on the Jets. The Jets were a terrible team when he was on them.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold was also pretty bad with the Jets, and Adam Gase as their head coach. Pretty sure Adam Gase is a high school offense coordinator now, which is such a downgrade. But like you said, Jameis Winston has that experience as a quarterback. And so does Sam Darnold too. But I do not believe in Drew Lock as a quarterback at all. And Teddy Bridgewater is also on the Broncos, so I don't think the Broncos themselves even believe in Drew Lock.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go to start, bench, cut receivers. We're gonna start, bench, cut Amari Cooper, Kenny Golladay, or Keenan Allen.
Ooh. I'm gonna start.
This is win healthy.
I'm gonna start Keenan Allen. I am gonna bench. Man, this is tough. Kenny Golladay. I'll bench Amari Cooper and I'll cut Kenny Golladay, and that's tough to do because Kenny Golladay is really good and he's underrated.
Yeah, and so is Amari Cooper. Everybody on this list right here is underrated. Amari Cooper, Kenny Golladay, and Keenan Allen. But I'm gonna do the exact same thing: start Keenan Allen, bench Amari Cooper, and cut Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay and Keenan Allen injuries have been holding them back his past couple seasons. But Amari Cooper has had like 1,000-yard seasons, like his whole entire career, I believe. And Kenny Golladay just signed that massive deal with the Giants. So, but I honestly, I think Keenan Allen is the best one here, and then Amari Cooper is the second best.
Yeah.
We're gonna start, bench, cut Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, or Joe Mixon.
All right. Start Nick Chubb, bench Aaron Jones, and cut Joe Mixon.
It's tough between, because I have Chubb locked at my number 1.
Yeah, same.
I don't know about Aaron Jones or Joe Mixon though, because Joe Mixon is a really good running back, but his line isn't good at all. You don't know what he can do with a good line. Any running back really is good with a good offensive line. That's what you need to run with.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Jones just had a big contract with the Packers after a pretty good year with the Packers in general, and so did Joe
Yeah.
Mixon. But I might, this is just because of the situation. Aaron Jones is going to be benched, and Joe Mixon is going to be cut because of Joe Mixon with a terrible offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. Those two are very close, and it was tough to decide on who to bench and who to cut.
But this running back, we're going to be moving over to our top 10 running backs in the NFL right now. So Connor, who do you have as your number 10?
My number 10 is a guy that we literally just talked about. I have Joe Mixon of the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, he may suffer from bad O-line, but even with that, he's able to rush the ball, pound the ball, and yeah, he's my number 10.
Well, my number 10 is actually coming off his rookie season, Jonathan Taylor.
Oh,
He was tearing up for the Indianapolis Colts this last year. Um, I mean, there's pretty much not to say about him because if you don't know about him, then you don't watch football. But he was a second round pick, I believe, and he was goaded basically for the Colts. And if he can keep it up, he has a lot of potential. But yeah, Josh Allen is my number 10 right now.
my number 9 is Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs. He's an amazing young running back. It's only his second or third season in the league. His rookie season, amazing player. Last season, amazing as well. Potential sky high with this guy.
Yeah, like you said, he was so good with Alabama. They turned Khalil Mack into Josh Jacobs, but a lot of people were like, Josh Jacobs is terrible, or not terrible. They were like, you're really kidding me? We turned Khalil Mack, our best player ever, into our running back. But my number 9 is actually your number 10, Joe Mixon of the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, Joe Mixon he's a pretty young, I would say, running back in the league. If the Bengals can build an O line, or in the future he goes to a team with a good O line or a decent O line in that,
Mm-hmm.
there's the sky high is with him, like you said with Josh Jacobs. The sky is high with Joe Mixon with a decent good O line.
Yeah. If they drafted an O lineman like Penny Sewell in the draft, and like,
Jamar Chase.
yeah, the Bengals might have a good O line next year, and Josh Jacobs might be really good. My number 8, I have Aaron Jones of the Packers. This past 2 seasons for this guy have been phenomenal. One of the best running backs in the league the past 2 years. He got a big bag in the offseason. It's just a matter of him continuing that production and then not being like every other running back when they get their big contract, starting to slow down and get injured. But he's just a really good. I wouldn't say solid because solid sound average, but he's a really good running back.
Yeah, my number 8 is actually my running back, Ezekiel Elliott. I honestly, if this was not counting this last year, I'd have him top 5. But he had a really bad year this year. Fumbles. He had a lot of fumbles. His ball control wasn't good at all. I feel like every single time I watched him play or run the ball, he just fumbled the ball. And first time having under 1,000 yards in his career. Pretty sure like 800 so yards. He did have an injury last year, but this last year held him back a lot. So Ezekiel Elliott of my Dallas Cowboys is number 8.
And he's my number 7. Zeke. I don't recall exactly what his yards per carry were, but I'm pretty sure it was like really low. I remember at one point in the season it was low. But last season not the greatest at all. Like you said, fumbling issues and not good ball control. It seems like the typical case of a running back getting a back and not producing anymore. Hopefully that's not the case because he's an exciting player. Every other year in his career, he's been one of the best running backs in the game, electric player. So hopefully he can return and move up on this list. So he's my number 7.
Well, it's funny how our number 8 and 7 are swapped. My number 7 is actually Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers. I mean, you pretty much said everything about Aaron Jones. He's He broke out, pretty sure last season or 2 seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
He got that bag in the off season, which any player would say is a bit too much, but he kind of deserved a little bit less. Anybody would say, but Aaron Jones is my number 7.
All right, my number 6 is part of the dynamic duo of running backs in Cleveland. I have Nick Chubb. He's been a phenomenal running back ever since coming into the league from Georgia. I know in Madden, this dude's absolutely unstoppable, one of the most hardest running backs to defend. And that goes in the case of the NFL as well. He's really tough to defend. He's benefits from a good O-line and a good offensive system. And, he's just one of those guys that you would love to have on your team.
Yeah, you pretty much said it all. My number 6 is actually Nicholas Chubb also. So, the top 10 running backs are pretty easy to do to put a hard list. Coming up here, the top 5 are going to be pretty similar. But take it away. Who is your number 5 running back?
Number 5, from what I recall, this dude was on my fantasy team last season. The Vikings, Dalvin Cook. I remember last season he was absolutely elite. He had these crazy games where he'd go for a bunch of yards, and I think he might have had a 4 TD game. I might be losing my mind, but he had a very high touchdown game. Many points last season. Great yards per carry numbers, and bro, he's just so good, dude.
Well, that is also very funny because mine is. I'm just kidding. It's not
Oh,
Dalvin Cook.
I got you rated.
It's actually the person who had a 6 touchdown game, Alvin Kamara of the
Ooh.
New Orleans Saints. Alvin Kamara had a 6 touchdown game. 6 touchdown game. That is tied for most touchdowns by running back in a single game. Really, if he played longer, you could have broke that record. But phenomenal for the New Orleans Saints. That duo with him and Latavius Murray is pretty top 5 running back duo right there. But number 1, Kareem Hunt and Nicholas Chubb. But number 5 is actually Alvin Kamara right there for me.
My number 4 is this dude was drafted number 2 overall just 3 seasons ago. Or it was number 2 overall, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Saquon Barkley. This dude, he got injured last season.
Sadly.
And, it's tough. ACL injury. Got the biggest legs I've ever seen in my entire life. But, dude, pure skill. This dude, before his injury season last year, was top 3 running back in the league. He's part of that Giants future. And, it's crazy to say that you take a running back number 2 overall and it's probably never going to happen again. Really. Because
that's how talent. That's how much talent he has.
Well, yeah, like you said, yeah, that's how much talent he has, and number 4.
Yeah, so you're actually not getting Jabeta this time. My number 4 is also Saquon Barkley. When healthy, this guy is a beast in the NFL. One of the most electric players to watch. And I'm a Cowboys fan. I hate the Giants with all my life. I hate the Eagles worse. But the with Penn State, he was so good. That is why he was drafted number 2 overall. And nowadays, you don't see a running back even possibly getting in the top 10. And that's how much less value they have nowadays, which is pretty crazy to say. But Saquon Barkley is one of the most electric players in football, has most talent in football. When healthy, he is top 3. But he had a down year because he's injured, obviously. So that's why I had him at number 4.
All right, number 3, I have I think he was your number 5. I have the dude with 6 touchdowns, Alvin Kamara. Dude is an absolute beast for the Saints. 6 touchdowns, like you said, is incredible to get in one game. Sometimes that's a dude's 3-4 game span. They get 6 touchdowns. He got him in one game. I don't think he was on my fantasy team. He might have been, but he's just really good, dude. He's also a decent pass threat. You know, he's got these nice moves out of the backfield for when he gets the ball. And whoever his quarterback this year is, feeding him the ball, he's going to have another amazing season.
You know, Alec Kamara is actually the reason why Madden put in um, tape on the arms, because he was only a player I remember with the tape on the arms, and you couldn't even put it on your player. And he also had a nose ring, which is pretty crazy in Madden. But my number 3 is also your number 5 too. So our 5 and 3 are switched. My number 3 is Dalvin Cook. Had an amazing, amazing, and outstanding year with the Minnesota Vikings. If you watched Dalvin Cook this season, you know that he was super good, and he is super good. Really, I mean, he is super duper good.
Good at life.
Pretty much. Yeah. So that's my number 3. Is Dalvin Cook.
All right, my number 2. This dude a few years ago had a 1,000 yard receiving and 1,000 yard rushing year. I have Christian McCaffrey. He was injured a lot last season, but the dude is a threat on the passing side of the ball and the running side of the ball, and he's my number 2.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same now, or 1 and 2. But number 2 is also for me Christian McCaffrey. He is an elite passing threat as well as an elite running threat. You know, you can pretty much put him on anywhere on the field. He'll do whatever. You know, he's elite in the backfield, elite, even possibly even more elite as a receiver. But you know, number 2, CMC, Christian McCaffrey.
Number 1. I think we got the same number 1. This dude has had, I believe, 2,000 yards rushing the past 2 seasons. King Henry of the Tennessee Titans, Derrick Henry. What else can you say? This dude is unstoppable. Literally, you cannot stop him. Once he touches the ball, he's gone.
He got like 5 bodies last year. He legit stiff armed the heck out of Josh Norman and many other people. But honestly, I think he should have been the cover of Madden this last year or this next year. That's what I think he should be. But you know, no surprise here really, and top in the 1 and top 10 really, not really much surprising. But you know, my number 1 is also obviously Derrick Henry, but you know, Derrick Henry had 2,000 yards last year, and he was dominant this year and even last year. You know, people were questioning him coming into the league in his first year at the Titans out of Alabama, which was he was so good for Alabama. Feels like a lot of guys are, you know, Alabama. A lot of guys in college are so good, obviously, but Derrick Henry is a beast. So we're done with the top. Oh my gosh, we're done with the top 10 running backs right now. We're moving over to top 5 NFL stadiums. Honestly, these are, I mean, it's pretty easy kind of for me because I looked at the the outside of the stadium, the inside of the stadium, and the fans too. Um, but you know, who is your number 5 NFL stadium?
So I looked at a few of the same things as you. I also looked at how they look on TV to me personally. I don't like some of the stadiums in the NFL when they're on TV. I hate looking at them. But my number 5, I have Lambeau Field for the Packers. I believe it's the oldest stadium in football. A historic field. You know, when it's snowing there, it's amazing. When it's not snowing there, it's an amazing field. The fan atmosphere is amazing too. And yeah, number 5.
My number 5 is AT&T Stadium, the Dallas Cowboys. Um, the fan interactions there is crazy because it's America's team. You got fans all over the country going over to see them play just because you know they could be their favorite team because you know it is America's team. And the cherry on top is just seeing the star just there in the middle of the field,
Yeah.
and it's just so beautiful.
Number 4, the stadium predominantly for me is on this list because of how it was in the Super Bowl. Also, just every week, I have U.S. Bank Stadium. That's where the Vikings play. The outside of the stadium, the architecture is beautiful. It's meant to look like a Viking ship, which is so sick. And it's glass too, and it's like it looks beautiful on the outside. The inside, I love the purple seats, and And overall, the fan atmosphere there. I mean, the fan atmosphere at every stadium is really good for the most part, but these ones are just the best of the best. And number 4 for me.
Well, number 4, I actually have Arrowhead Stadium of the Kansas City Chiefs. Recently, there has been a lot more fans showing up because they're actually good now. Um, but I mean, the fan interactions, which is I'm going to say for every single stadium, is awesome now that they're actually good. And Arrowhead Stadium was one of the most beautiful stadiums, in my opinion. Yeah, Arrowhead Stadium is my number 4.
That's my number 3, Arrowhead. Obviously the Chiefs are good, which makes the stadium energy amazing. It's one of the loudest stadiums in the league. It's one of the most hardest stadiums to go into and play a game and win. I know that from personal experience. But dude, like that stadium is electric. The sea of red is just beautiful. Number 3, that's for me.
My number 3 is Lambeau Field of the Green Bay Packers. Um, you know, you said it's one of the oldest stadium. Um, it's also even better, seeing all those those yellow cheese heads just in the fans.
Forgot about
Um,
that.
yeah, it's a gorgeous stadium. Hopefully we get to see Aaron Rodgers still play in that stadium, but who knows? Who knows?
And then my number 2, this is your favorite team. I got AT&T Stadium, the Cowboys, Jerry's World. Um, that stadium hosts so many events. It hosted the draft. It hosts college football playoff games. Obviously, the Cowboys. Um, it's a huge stadium. I love the roof thing and like the jumbotron that they have in the stadium, which like you never see a jumbotron in a football stadium. It's unheard of. It's massive. The energy there on Sundays in Cowboys games is beautiful. Also, I love at times when the sun peeps through the windows and then it gets on the field in certain spots. Um, that's my number 2, man.
Well, my number 2 would be number 1 if fans sat in it last year. That is SoFi Stadium of the Los Angeles Rams. It looks so amazing. Um, I don't even know what to say about it. Like what to begin with. Like, it's so amazing. The outside looks so amazing. The jumbotron around it looks so pretty. The whole entire stadium is pretty. I would have it at number 1. Well, considering the fan interactions, I would have it number 1. But they did not. They were not in last year because of COVID.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Which version of SoFi Stadium is more electric, the Rams or the Chargers? My guess is the Rams because the Chargers have no fans in LA. My number 1, this stadium has been listed as the loudest stadium, I believe, of all time. It used to be called CenturyLink Field. Now it's called Lumen Field, the home of the Seahawks, man. Aesthetically, the stadium might not be the most beautiful looking. It's definitely a nice looking stadium, but the fan atmosphere for me on this one really carried it to number 1. Loudest stadium in football, most passionate fans. There's a lot of passionate fan bases. One of the best fan bases in football. Teams have gone up there and win games, but it's hard to do that. Seahawks games are always competitive, and the fans have a big part of that. That's why it's my number 1 stadium.
I actually had no clue that they changed its name, so I'm gonna just say what I'm gonna say. My number 1 is also home of the 12s, CenturyLink
Oh
Field.
man.
I don't remember what you said the new name is. But I'm just gonna call it CenturyLink Field of the Seattle Seahawks. Like I said, the home of the 12s. 12 meaning they're the 12th man on the field. The thing that they do before every single game is hang up the 12 flag. The fans there are so loud, they're so crazy. Um, the fans there are they're just the craziest place. You got to put like the Raiders stadium there just because of the fans.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows, man? CenturyLink Field ain't my number 1.
Yeah, those new stadiums, the Raiders one and the Rams Chargers one, beautiful, beautiful stadiums. Like from the outside, probably the two best stadiums in football. And those should be on my list. But they didn't really have fans in them, so I'm gonna wait for that. And then my eye test thing, like how they look on TV, gotta wait for that because it's weird seeing empty stadiums. So this list will definitely change next year, in my opinion, with those two stadiums moving up. But yeah, I think our lists are pretty good. A lot of the same stuff, which is expected.
Yeah, we can put like a top 10, top 5. We're projected to have the best of the best, and it's pretty much the same. But that's all on my list, on Connor's list, I believe. But that's all we needed to talk about today in the world of sports that have been going on recently. So Connor, you want to do the outro?
Yeah, man. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Know the Game. I wish this was episode 3. I really do, because the last episode we filmed was amazing. But things happen, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Know the Game. Whether you're listening watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Apple, however, thank you. Make sure you share this podcast to anyone that might find interested. And we'll see you guys next time on an episode of Know the Game.
Peace out.